listening to Tiger Cats at the Half.
2023 East Division semifinal. Let's call it a slugfest. 30 minutes of football are in the books. Montreal Alouettes, home team, leading the Tiger Cats 14-6. Bubba O'Neil along with Andy Fantuz. This is Tiger Cats at the Half, presented by My Insurance Broker. Andy, I'll tell you, we saw one Ticat team, I think, in the first quarter and a second team in the second quarter. They've got to come together.
Yeah, well, we certainly saw the Ticat offense come out on a mission, you would say. We called it, very mechanical. They were determined and focused the first two drives. And really the difference in this first half came in those two turnovers. That first drive, they go all the way down the field, they're in field goal range, and a fumble turns the ball over. Well, they were able to flush that, kind of refocus, and on their second drive, they went down, and the same thing. It was just mechanical. It was solid. It was determined, and they went all the way down and got another field goal. Since then, the offense has been struggling, really, to find anything open downfield. They are doing a good job on second down. They are 8 for 15 on second down conversions, which isn't too bad, but Montreal is just almost playing exclusively zone coverage on defense, and especially on those second down conversions. And they have 3 guys deep, so Hamilton has got to find a way to basically send 4 verticals and throw the ball downfield and be able to outnumber that deep coverage, but they also have to protect in order to do that. And as far as the defensive side of things, you're seeing playoff football here. You're seeing physical football. A number of times, balls have been jarred loose at the point of contact. The Hamilton, the only really big play, besides some unique, plays that you don't often see, the QB scramble, the fullback pass, the little dump up the middle, was the Austin Mack touchdown, and that was kind of like one of those plays that Hamilton was in that cover 3 cut coverage, and because Richard Leonard got such a good press on Austin Mack on that play, Dexter Lawson kind of got sucked into the inside vertical, and then the late outside vertical to Austin Mack was wide open. Cody Fajardo did a good job with his eyes, pulling Dexter Lawson in and throwing the outside one, but that's a similar type of concept that Hamilton needs to run against Montreal, because the intermediate area on the Montreal defense is flooded with defenders, and they got to find a way to go over top. Even if it's a throw in a 50-50 ball, you saw Terry Godwin have success when they did throw that play early up to him and for the 30-yarder. They got to continue with that.
Let's talk about that completion to Godwin there. The quarterback, Matthew Schultz, took a tremendous hit. What seemed to me, and I'm guessing here, what I thought was the right rib area. We do know that he had a very long injury related to his hip that, some people were saying could have maybe knocked him out for his career. Does he look good to you at this point since that hit?
Well, I was questioning that myself until that very last drive where we saw him take the ball and use his legs to pick up a first down, and then the very next play he tried to do that again. The hole got covered up and he ended up taking a sack, but that gave me some positive reinforcement that he is okay and he is able to still run around and make plays with his legs, because they need some kind of spark throwing the ball downfield. But yeah, I think he's okay based on that last drive and him running the ball.
We have our embedded reporter down on the sidelines at Molson Stadium, Braden Neville. How are you? How are you feeling? And what seems to be the atmosphere on the sideline there with the Tiger Cats?
Well, obviously it was a back and forth half there, Bubba, and we saw a lot of work from the special teams units and the defenses. But this Ticats team still seems very confident. The message has been clear that this second half is going to be theirs for the taking. I've seen Joel Figueroa, who's been injured, and he's been a really big presence on that sideline. You've been hearing him pump up guys. You've been hearing him talk on the sideline. And I think this Ticats team knows that the second half they need to be much stronger on offense, get some touchdowns. And aside from that Austin Mack touchdown, the defense has been excellent, and the special teams unit has been excellent as well. So I think this Ticats team, the morale is still high here. This is a close game, and we're seeing this Ticats team ready to get out here for the second half.
Braden, what's been the chatter on the sideline after the offensive turnovers?
It's you haven't heard much negativity. I mean, obviously they're not looking for any of that, but from what I've seen, they seem to be pretty calm, pretty composed. Most of the guys on this sideline know that this is still a very close game and that it's still a one play away from being a tie game. So you haven't seen too much from the Ticats. They seem to be pretty disciplined on that sideline and getting ready here for the second half. They're looking to go out here and get some touchdowns.
Final question there, Braden. At the very end of the half, we saw Tyrone Riley, the right offensive tackle, down on the turf, and players were already leaving for the locker room at halftime. Is he okay?
I still have no update on that yet for you, Bubba. So as soon as I find out more, I'll be sure to let you know. But as of right now, the status is still pretty unclear on that.
Braden Neville at Percival Molson Stadium. We will talk to you a little bit later. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Well, Andy, now you look towards that second half right now. What game plan has to be changed? I know that, and I was leaning towards the quarterback situation. Obviously, you're looking at the cameras. You're looking at an experienced quarterback like Bo Levi Mitchell. I know maybe we're that conversation of, trying something different. Would that enter your thought at this point?
Well, it certainly could, and I was thinking more along those lines until I saw Matthew Schultz continue to run with the ball. Now they have to see that they're almost getting exclusive zone, and they have to find a way to break that. If Matthew Schultz can't push the ball downfield, they got to put Bo Levi Mitchell in. I think you come back with Schultz to start the second half, and you try to start that second half like you started the game, and kind of throwing in, getting the ball into playmakers' hands early. Tyreek McAllister, you got to get Tim White more involved. Getting James Butler on some odd-looking run plays. I mean, they started the game with a rush play where they only had two offensive linemen in the center of the field, and the rest were all spread out. So certainly some unique plays in that first half. But there's been a lot of good things. There's been 0 penalties, but actually by both teams. So a really clean game in that discipline aspect that we talked about, and the special teams matchup's pretty even. Montreal's a slight edge in punt return yards, so they hopefully can flip that stat around. But I would just come out and defensively not change anything, because they're playing physical, hard-nosed ball, and offense, you've got to find a way to beat that cover 3 zone.
And I'm going to talk about, we spent a lot of time talking about the offense. This defense right now, the Hamilton Tiger Cats right now, are really riled up now. As you talked about earlier, we're seeing some good physicality on all levels, from the linebackers, from the D-line. They are winning the battle in terms, I think, on the defensive line against Montreal's offensive line. William Stanback, he's had a couple of carries, but really not a huge factor. I know they're going to want to try and come out in the second half and try and establish him.
Yeah, they will, and I think the Ticats are going to be ready for it. I think there was only 4 plays really that gave Montreal their entire offense. They're 3 for 10 on second down. They only have 7 first downs, and you take away those 4 plays, and I mean you can't take away those 4 plays, but I think the Hamilton defense just needs to keep doing what they're doing and find a way to get a turnover. If they can get a turnover and even some points, that would be a huge spark for them. But Montreal is going to have the choice to either take the ball or an end coming out of the half. You assume with the little amount of wind, we can see that they'll be taking the ball. So if Hamilton can stop them and get a quick punt and let that Ticat offense go to work and be on a mission, be that determined look that we saw them start the game with, and get within one score or score a touchdown or any points on that first play, I think that'll really put the momentum in Hamilton's side.
When you're in a situation like this, when you come into a half of a ball game, you're on the road, hostile environment, crowd certainly making a lot of noise. We're seeing a great attendance here at Percival Molson Stadium. What's that message from the head coach generally? Obviously, we don't know exactly what Coach O is going to say, but there's got to be that, I guess, that continual like confident feelings that when you go into the second half.
Yeah, I think he's going to say just stay focused and present at what's up next play mentality. Keep being physical, keep playing hard, but keep your cool, keep your wits about you. Stay disciplined and keep doing what you're doing. And I know that in the offensive quarterback huddle, or the coordinator, the quarterback, the receivers, they're certainly talking about what they can't do right now, and they are trying to figure out a way to beat that. They got to figure out a way to stretch those zones and protect long enough in order to throw it downfield and continue to get James Butler involved. Sean Thomas Earlington also was in there, but I don't know if Philly's going to return this game after that injury. So, have a nice balance of running the ball both conventionally and unconventionally with your receivers or your short passes with Tyreek and Tim White, and just get on a roll in the way they started the game.
I think you said a name that's really important there. They've got to get Tim White involved in this game. I mean, he is their most outstanding player nominee. He's the guy that's going to threaten, whether it is that short pass, intermediate, or long pass. They've got to get him involved.
Yeah, he only has one target, and that's just unacceptable. You got to get the ball in his hands. It was nice to see him get that short sweep in late in the second quarter, but they got to go to him early and often in the second half.
As we get ready for the second half, 14-6, Montreal Alouettes leading the Hamilton Tiger Cats in this 2023 East semi-final game. Next up, we're looking at someone that's going to go to Toronto for that East final to meet the Argonauts. But up next, more immediately, RJ and Luke from the broadcast booth. We're streaming live at listen.ticats.ca and across the Ticats audio network. We'll see you at the conclusion of this one.
Are you thinking of taking the dog for a walk? Feeling like you should head to the gym? Maybe you need to restock the fridge and don't want to miss a single snap of Tiger Cats football. We've got you covered. Catch it all live on ticats.ca or on the Ticats All Access app.